Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Danny and Troy Show. And Danny's got a nice picture.
It's a coaster.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
It's pretty much detail there too.
Yep.
Africa-centric, right?
Right. Sure.
Really? What? Yeah. I think they're on a hunting party, it looks like to me.
Well, yeah, it's a bit of a mystery. I can see, yeah, some like spears and maybe a bow, and you can definitely tell one's a male and one's a female. So I don't know why.
Both of them are two males.
Well,
Female
yeah.
coming up from behind.
Yep. But I was just
Yeah.
saying you can see the wiener definitely on the first guy, but
Okay. Well,
well,
we'll
obviously
block that out. How's
he's
that
that.
better?
Yeah, but why
And
would
now
the
I get
woman be
accused
going
of
with
child
the
abuse.
hunters? Like maybe she looks surprised or something. She's like, or maybe she's happy, saying, "Hey, good luck. Give me a hug before you go."
It could be a fertility dance. What do you think?
Oh, sure.
Maybe.
Well, okay.
I
Yeah.
mean, I don't think I wouldn't welcome a woman with that kind of configuration
I was
to
just going to
keep up with
mention
me
that.
in the bush, right?
Well, yeah,
I mean, it
she's
might be
got
difficult, but
a
it
nice
it has a
booty.
lot of detail. Very interesting.
Yeah, you wouldn't even want to put a coffee mug on that.
How about a glass of orange juice? Will that work?
I wouldn't put anything on it. It's classic. You put it
Okay.
on the wall.
All right. Okay, you get your way. All right.
Yeah. Okay. So,
That was like
yeah.
the cartoon before the movie, right?
Okay.
Yeah, when
Oh,
you go see a
yeah.
movie, yeah,
Right.
they play a cartoon. We're
Yeah.
just trying to pull people in. We think we're
Well,
so interesting.
it's yeah, for us to do what we want, and this is what we inspire others to do, is to not worry too much about whether it is interesting to others. Is interesting to us, then
Mm.
we do that. In that, we were talking about this yesterday, our sales approach being as soft as we can possibly be. We don't want to be that person that we get bugged with almost on a daily basis, saying, hey,
Mm.
you should buy my product because they're gonna do so much for you. But we want to show what we do. We want to be out there. We want people to notice us.
We
And
do?
well, I do, because I want to spread the word of what we have. I don't want, and we discussed this before, it to remain in this little circle of, you, me, maybe my brother on occasion. And yeah, of course, we're out in YouTube right now and we're getting the followers. I mean, I just saw maybe 6 followers, or listeners, I should say, that people have viewed our
Addicts. They're
yeah,
addicts.
yeah,
They can't live without us. Right?
yeah.
6
I'd love
people.
to get to know you guys who's watching. Please leave a comment and get in touch.
Anything. Anything.
Yeah,
We're
but
desperate.
that's another thing is you talked about yesterday. Nobody hires a desperate actor.
Hungry actor.
Oh,
Nobody
hungry
has a
actor.
hungry.
Right.
Desperate. You don't even want to know they're alive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's sort of like, okay, if you're desperate, get a job as a waiter, okay? Because you want to
Right.
be around people, right? You want to make a little
Sure.
money. Want to feel
Yeah.
like you're useful, at least.
Well, that's a good point right there. Is you got to do what you got to do. And yeah, there's a whole aspect of living life to the fullest, finding a purpose, love what you do. It's great if you can, but it's not to, do it at the cost of actually, living. So if you are lucky enough to find a job that you love doing, or, whether it's working for somebody else or working for yourself, It's a rarity, but in the meantime, you know, when you don't give up on searching for it and looking for it, but yeah, do what you need to do. And that's what's one lesson I've had to learn, I guess, is that it's a balance. And but I don't know, I can't speak too much on that because I just feel I'm blessed to be able to do what I do and get paid enough to do it every day. And hopefully that continues.
It will, unless you die.
Yeah, but I'm willing to do whatever I need to do.
But don't die. Okay.
Sure.
Don't die.
I'll try,
not yet.
I guess, not to do that.
Okay, so tell people why we have gathered together today.
So we are working on datalogical services in the aspect of we're being our own clients and playing the hypothetical or in some cases impromptu games of being clients to ourselves. And yeah, we are coming up with the process of what would actually happen if we got a client. And yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
So I've been playing the role of, okay, a client from Datalogical Services coming to Danny Teal saying, okay, Danny, I've got this company, it's a boutique consulting company. What can I do with it? And, you know, I know that this information is so valuable, and we talked about price points as well, and how we want to really open up the conversation as a premium service. It's not, the analogy we use is the restaurant industry. You know, it's not the McDonald's, it's the 5-star Michelin, yeah, restaurant. And so we want to set that image, and of course, yeah, attract the people that understand the value that we're giving, and also capable of actually investing in themselves in the order of tens of thousands of dollars, because I know what we do is well above in value of what we are giving. So yeah, yesterday we talked more about that, and we came up with, well, I was working on a little catalog, and
we have two approaches. Basically, that's what you're saying, right? I'm afraid we're going to lose people in the preview of coming attractions.
Okay,
but
sure.
Just to grab their attention before they leave, is that we have two approaches. We've got Troy's approach, and then we'll have my approach. And that's what we would like to have you maybe, you know, drop a word or something. Troy, Danny, Troy, whatever. And so we can know whether or not we're, you know, going up the right path. So Troy, why don't you wrote something? Why don't you just, this is to attract people. Okay.
Exactly.
How would we do that? Troy has his method and I have mine. And we're going to start with you, Troy.
Okay.
He wrote something, he's going to read it. I wrote something, then I'm going to read it.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
Okay, ready? Action.
Datalogical Services specializes in business development through brand storytelling. When a tale takes its start from the storyteller's heart to distill the essence of purpose and truth, it weaves through the soul, but not taking any toll, rather crafting its very own fountain of youth. The force to be employed also favors a life enjoyed, none other than the brand story power, unleashed with affection through the collection of DLS products delivered hour after hour. Define, develop, display the main character of the play is simply all you have to do. The nature of the beast will come to the feast to have them really value you. This is a defining moment that will never acquire atonement, a showcase of what is installed. If you go with the flow and let us get to know you, the outcome is an audience enthralled. The ideological purposes of datalogical services make brand story telling profitable. Measure our sincerity as you listen to this deity, and together we will top the untoppable. For business development through brand storytelling, contact info@datalogicalservices.com.
That's amazing. That's truly amazing. I can't decide. Hang on a second. It's somewhere between Chaucer and Jesse Jackson.
Okay.
But it's alive, and it's a message. I think you've written the lyrics to a rap song. I could ask you to put it to music, right? Because it's got that that rhythm to it that is very, very, very nice. I like it. Now, I'm going to read something, and then we're going to compare the two, if you don't mind, because for our listening audience, what we've got is two different approaches to the same thing.
Cool.
My brother says to me, we have nothing in common. And I feel like, no, we're just looking at the same thing from different sides.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that may apply here as well. So without further ado, here's my retort. Ever want to be famous? Rich? Successful? How would you do it? Why are you doing it? What does it take? Have you got it? How do you know? Let's start by asking a few simple questions. Do you know what you want? Can you write it down in 10 words or less? How do you plan to get it? What will you do with it once you have it? Why are you doing it? Does it lead to what you want? How so? Do you enjoy it? Can you live without it? We can save you a lot of time by asking you a few hard questions, the right questions, like we just did. If you get yourself involved in this, can you stick it out? What would deter you? Success is not a destination, it's process, a never-ending process of a life ongoing. Identifying yourself is important. What do you want other people to see? How do you acknowledge yourself? What is your image? Do you believe in yourself? Why? Are you creative? Can you do what you say you can do? What can you do? Can you do it well? Will people pay you to do what you do? How will you approach them? A way to satisfy them or yourself? What do they get out of it? Answering these questions may get you on the road to success and happiness if you can be objective about yourself. And that's not easy, especially when being subjective is all about you and how you take what others say to you. Do your feelings get hurt easily? Do you become aggressive? Do you hate? What story do you tell about yourself? What do you associate yourself with? All of this is important when you are in the public eye. Your business represents you and you it. Identifying yourself gives you confidence. Being confident about who you are comes from knowing all the answers and being comfortable with them. No one is asking you to be perfect. Be yourself. You make a perfect you. You make a poor someone else. This is all branding, which is about how others see you, your projection. If you are interested, we can help you gain self-assurance, which shines through what you do. Knowing the answers, not faking them, is a show of confidence that you have considered your life, and through your expression of it, you create not only a reputation, but an example for others who may wish to follow you. That takes strength and self-assurance. You are in everything you touch. It's not about influencing others. You don't even think of it. You are pointed towards your own essential world. Its needs and desires, you circumvent judgment and comment. You align others to acknowledge you and your way of seeing the world, not intentionally, but as a natural consequence of who you are. Knowing who you are and having no fear, because you explore your vision of the future. You are immune from criticism. It no longer affects you. It is merely questions being asked of you, asking you to share your vision with others who exemplify you and your actions. You create your brand by living it, by loving it. Other factors like knowing how to present yourself, the clarity of voice and thought and style, often escape decision makers' skills, as they generally have no theatrical training or instruction on technique, which they hardly considered important in their development. Their on-stage presence, their public persona, public image, their comprehension of motivation, knowing the audience and letting them do the work, plot progression, dramatic delivery, eloquence, posture, versatility, projection, movement, voice, assisted or non-assisted presentation, knowing your lines, responsiveness, anger, assertion, and the use of emotion, improvisation, talent, voice, reserve, self-control, deportment, manner, authority, command, distraction, must ensure comprehension and trust in the dialogue to drive the point and purpose of their presentation towards a winning public confidence in the actor, or enlivening article who translates words into action for people who live vicariously through him or her. Whether people consider you a star, a leading man or lady, according to stage and social etiquette, which is to say, showing respect for yourself and everyone else. The importance of punctuality, appearance, a handshake, smile, conversation are emphasized for pre- and post-performance celebrations to enhance one's success and or failures. It's my personal recommendation as a theatrical performer and a seasoned businessman to emphasize honesty as the best policy. It may be surprising to hear this because most people presume actors as imitators, fakers, pretenders, and cannot trust them because they don't know if they are acting or not. I assure you, professional actors never act. They live their parts. They must be honest, well-read, versatile, and accomplished. They are thespians. Esteemed writers like Eric Morris, Joan Hotchkiss, and Jack Nicholson are noted for their book, No Acting Please, a revolutionary approach to acting and living, in which exercises teach the actor to systematically eliminate his or her instrumental obstacles, tensions, inhibitions, and explore the being state where the actor does no more or less than what she or he feels. Many of the techniques address the actor's need to avoid falling into traps of conceit and presentational acting. There is also a complete chapter on sense memory, what it is and how to practice it and apply it as an acting tool. Exploring oneself is the same as know thyself, the most well-known of Delphic maxims that has been quoted and analyzed by numerous actors throughout history. It has been said that presentation is everything. We therefore suggest you and your business exercise the prudence and practice it takes to let people know who you are, what you do, and that you stand behind what you say, practice, and produce. It is your reputation that is your brand, and we want to tell your story. A bit lengthy, but
perfect.
It's I suppose that was first draft. I haven't touched it. Just went back and cleaned it up where I'm trying to say them and it turns out to be that, predictive texting and all of its beauty.
Well,
Go ahead. Yeah, you have something to say. Go ahead.
I think there's a lot of depth in there. I think it fits in our model in what we've been doing ever since, we established Datalogical Services is, from my side, the data science side, is to systemize everything we do. And I can't help but see the three phases that we talk about: define yourself, develop yourself, and display yourself in what you've just mentioned. And so what we want to do is take that, what I want to do, and walk people through what Danny does in his natural life and ability to just do what he does. And it's a theatrical approach to business development, but with the combination of systematic approach and turning it into a service or a product. So this is what we are coming up with. We have activity kits, we have services, and we have programs that people can partake of and go through this whole process to get to either a poem that describes the company or this overview, like we talked about, soliloquies, of coming up with something that really definitively describes the company and what it has to offer, and then put it on YouTube like we're doing right now. Then YouTube is just one possible way of displaying it. So I think this is a great episode. I'm really looking forward to sharing it with the 183,000 members on LinkedIn. And
peanuts.
That's we're looking to really expand that and hit 1 million in sometime soon. And by doing this, what we're doing, defining ourselves, developing ourselves. Now I'm talking about the company, but it started individually, and displaying ourselves is what we ultimately are providing others to come to the company and
let people know we're alive.
Exactly.
Right. And I think a couple of things you said are important. And that, I get the image of, well, everything you said is important, but I want to latch on to a couple. And it's like, I have this image of, I don't know where it came from, actually an actual case where somebody is doing something, maybe in a Japanese way of thinking, maybe like a katana, samurai sword, right?
Oh.
It's like we have this Walmart mentality or 7-Eleven, pick one, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And we want convenience store. We want what we want, when we want it, or yesterday. We don't want to pay anything for it. We want the shelf full of it, full of them. We want, a different variety. We want to spend nothing for it and have it last forever and change our life and make sex better, and I could go on. And that's that when we compare that to what you and I are doing, Troy, we are like, colonial gunsmiths. We can't just get online and order a stock, a ramrod, a barrel, all the parts, and then have the person in the post office put it together before we come and pick it up. And it's taken the juice out of life. And because we love what we do, it's my allegory of success, right? Success is not something you achieve, it's something you work on all the time, because we are constantly learning things. We share them with people in our frail attempts on YouTube, for instance, or on LinkedIn or datascientist.com or datalogicalservices.com, for people who may be hungry for the same thing we're hungry for.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I kept thinking, my uncle was a blacksmith. He had a little shop down on Teal Street, no surprise. And no spreading chestnut tree outside. It was a chinaberry tree. But he had the leisure of not thinking about his work going viral. He was concentrated on what he does, what he did.
Ooh.
My dentist is the same way. You can't distract Mark when he's in your mouth. He is just focused on what he's doing because he loves it. I can't imagine a dentist loving his work, but I'd like to introduce you to Mark, right?
Well,
and these qualities and characteristics of these people, ourselves included, means that what is it? Used to be a Gallo commercial where who was that very famous actor said, "We will serve no wine before it's time."
Mm, yep.
Yeah, and that was the guy who did World of the World. Was it World when the aliens invade
War of the
Earth?
Worlds, was it? War of the Worlds?
That's it, H.G. Wells, and it was
Yeah.
done by that famous actor whose name escapes me for some reason, but his actions are alive in my mind and how he delivered it, and that's
Sure.
part of why I'm introducing the theatrical approach, because
Mhm.
no, I'm not strangling because I'm no longer in the theater. I'm still very active writing scripts and things like that and making presentations, because theater envelops a lot of the different things that people do in business, but it somehow or another manages to make it fun, enjoyable. People apply themselves. They want it, they're expressing themselves, whether you're building a set or a prop or on stage learning a script or a wardrobe mistress or whatever.
Mhm.
You want everything perfect.
Yeah.
But somehow or another, when I think about approaching business, I feel like suddenly, I get raped in a dark alley. And
And it
it's like,
shouldn't
what,
be like that.
wait a minute. Why?
Yeah.
I'm not explaining the economy of the United States or global economy or anything like that, because the money will come. There's a famous book that says, "Do what you love and the money will come." It's quite natural because
Mhm.
people adulate what you do when you do it well. You take the
Sure.
time, and you and I have had some, fights or whatever you want to call them, disagreements about when it should happen. And maybe my laissez-faire attitude is, well, it happens, when it's ready. And then we look at the process and we say to ourselves that it's slower than we want, right? But when we get through all of the stuff behind where we are today, we have a lot of material that substantiates our approach
Cool.
and our willingness to share it with other people. Why? I don't know, because we like to do things correctly. We like to do them in a way in which we solve as many problems as possible in the process, that we keep ourselves enlivened and, interested in what we're doing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I think I can't give it up. And only lately, really, since we've been working together, have I really realized that that's what I'm doing. I have a Master of Fine Arts in dramatic arts, theatrical arts, whatever you want to call it. Depends on the university, and UNC Chapel Hill here. And that's okay. But I graduated with people that I questioned why they were given the same degree. Right?
Okay.
It's sort of like, oh yeah, that's right. That's policy.
Right.
Has nothing to do whether or not this person checks bags at Charlotte, Douglas Airport, or whether or not, they're going to go on to doing something that comes so easily to them that they ignore it.
Right.
And I think of us as guides, really. We take our experience. Troy has, as you've noticed, and as I have noticed, his own approach. I think, I'm sort of the structure of the frog, but Troy is the musculature and the organs that keep it alive and make it want to jump and croak and all that sort of stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'll bring to mind particularly, you've heard it before, Troy, but when I was in a seminar in Riga, Latvia, at where was that? I think it was Stockholm School of Economics, and we were having a WEF, those guys, BlackRock and all those fellows were there, and they were trying to decide how to turn a university into an organization that can promote entrepreneurship. And I know what they were trying to do. They were trying to salvage the school, because people were starting to realize that I can get an education myself, less a piece of paper, by living it. That, incidentally, that's how I got my PhD. I designed my own program and I was my own whipping boy, right? And because I knew what I wanted and I went through it, and I didn't need somebody on my back telling me I needed this $200 textbook on, quantitative analysis, because that's how I'm going to be writing my dissertation. And it was like, this is daunting. I don't want to do this. But thanks to my chair, Jim Kidd, we found a way around doing it the way they wanted me to do it, so I could do it the way that I wanted to do it and keep my motivation, and go around this obstacle. And little did I know, as has been said, that the world is a stage, that I was principally, acting the part of, I don't know, business and marketing director in Taiwan, and God knows whatever else I've been doing. Check my LinkedIn profile if you want. And it was like, I did all I wanted to do without even knowing I was doing it, which is what we want, for other people, and why we make this offer through maybe theatrical training. I don't want you to come to my acting class. I need an object. I need you doing something, and then we can employ this theatrical technique in achieving the same results that we do when we put a show on stage. We have to coordinate all of these aspects, from the box office to lighting or whatever. And that's many of the things that may not be as exciting as being on stage is, but I dare say modern theater wouldn't be anywhere without the electric screw. No lights, no sound, no air conditioner, you're in a black box, lighting yourself with candles, okay, whatever. You have a handle on how to do that electronically.
Sure.
This is an example of that.
Well,
You're the engineer behind pressing the button and knowing what you need to know to press the button that allows us to say what we want to say to people who want to listen.
exactly. So
Except, we want to be more objective about it in working with other people, because objectivity is very important. And being able to say, and experienced people like you and me can say, these are some of the things that you need to think about. I'm looking at the presentational aspects, right? What's on the boards, what people are coming to see. But before you get there, there's a mountain of things that need to be managed.
Yeah, well, I think it's a great segue into briefly, because I don't want to keep this one too long. And I know, the retention issues are out there with modern or day society. People don't like videos longer than, well, in some cases 20 minutes or even 2 minutes. But if you are still here and listening, then I want to touch on two things. Two is what you just mentioned, which I think is a great segue into it, is glass octopus. Glass octopus giving us the opportunity to be displayed. That's all it is. But it also helps us go through that process that you're talking about in defining yourself, developing yourself, and then displaying yourself. Of course, YouTube is there. It's probably the number one platform, social media platform for displaying yourself and character. So we're going to use that.
Rumble.
Well, yeah, Rumble is there as well. And for those that want to be a little bit less controlled and less monitored of what they push out. Yeah, we don't have Rumble yet, but we'll get that soon. But we have something better. It's called Glass Octopus. And it's still in its development
Tell the
phase,
folks what it is, Troy.
Well, it's a social media platform that allows you to do social media stuff like share, like, friend people. It's built on an open source platform called Pleroma. And it's an exciting opportunity for us, Datalogical Services, to deliver everything that you've been talking about in terms of defining yourself, developing yourself, and displaying yourself. So, and the other thing that I want to briefly touch on is the systemization of that process. Now, I may as well share my screen to quickly show this over here. This one I want. This is a little
live from Brisbane, Australia.
Visio diagram that I'm working on, and can you see that, Danny?
Barely. Go ahead and talk us through it.
Yeah. So this is a clock face that defines 3 specific phases that we just mentioned: defining character, developing character, and displaying character. At each point, 1, 2, 3, you will get either an activity kit to complete. And for example, Danny asked me to write a catalog of the products and services that Datalogical Services has, as well as a number of different things that will slot in, such as guided visualization, the personal SWOT analysis, who I am, what I'm about, the questions that were coming out in Danny's reading just before. But the creative writing comes into developing the character. So I wrote a poem, which, based on all the information I did in the first phase, was able to create this. I think I'm pretty proud of it, an entertaining and interesting poem, which will take me through further developing of my character but we're not stopping there, because we're actually going to be pushing this through social media. We're actually creating a story right now. So this is the aspect of displaying the character. And we have full programs such as the promotion program that people can enroll in, that once they complete this kind of these activities and services provided by dialogical services, they will be ready for. So yeah, I think it's pretty full-on episode. That's if you are good to wrap it up here, we'll
Yeah, let's do it.
say, yeah, again, thanks for watching. Please, if you are watching and you liked it, give it a like, give it a comment, and get in touch with us. And yeah, of course,
This is better
subscribe.
than a university degree. Trust me, right?
Sure.
We're more interested in what you are able to do than, what classes did you take? Because we all know that once you're out of that class, you forget it anyway, right? And it somehow or another mystically participates in your life.
That's a
Well,
great word.
we'll give you a piece of paper if you want it, right? When you graduate from this, but you won't even think about it because you'll be too busy doing it. With our support, we'll take you through all of this, one step at a time, because what we want to ensure your happiness, your satisfaction, some people call it success, whatever it is, that you achieve your objective. And I think that this is our first reaching out, really, to say, it's going to cost you some money, of course, because we've got mouths to feed. This big mouth, for one. Troy's got a couple on his end, and we want to bring other people into this, right? And what they're doing. And we've got lots of people who are very interested in what we're doing, but we're the ambitious ones, right? This is a call to action. Join us. Let's go through this together. Let's build something together, right?
Yep.
Let's do it. Give us a shot. You can start anywhere.
Great.
Okay.
I'm ready. Sign me up, Danny.
You're drafted.
Okay, thanks. And thanks everybody for watching. And yeah, looking forward to the next one. See you there.
Yep. Ciao.